Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Asad Yaqub and I'm from Lahore, Pakistan. Well guys, once again I welcome you all to my academic IELTS reading video, and this is the third video of this series, and we are solving Cambridge IELTS book number 14 academic, and this is test 2. And in test 2 this is section 1, rather this is section 2, and we have the questions 14 to 18. So if you have the book, please open the book and you will understand everything better. So guys, in this video I'm going to teach you how to tackle the question type which paragraph or which section contains the following information. It is another confusing type of questions, and at times students don't understand how to deal with which paragraph contains the following information. Do they have to read the questions first or passage first, and how to scan the passage, how to reach the relevant information? All these things I'm going to teach you in this video. If you haven't subscribed my channel, go ahead and subscribe my channel and hit the bell icon as well. So now we go to the handout, and there we are going to start with this question type. Wish you all the best, huh? Let's take a start. Alright guys, now we are going to start with the question type. Reading passage 2 has 9 sections A to I. Which section contains the following information? Which section or which paragraph contains the following information, right? So for paragraph is using the word sections. The difference between a paragraph and a section is when there is a paragraph, it's only one paragraph. But when it's a section can have 2 paragraphs, or a section can have more than 2 paragraphs as well. So more than one paragraph is a section, and otherwise it's a paragraph. Now in this type of questions, it's a very good idea to read all the questions and then underline the clue words, and after that you can scan the passage. Number 14, why some people avoided hospitals. People avoided hospitals, and the clue word is in the 19th century. So we need to find a section where they mention why some people avoided hospitals in the 19th century, the reason. So it means you need to find a paragraph that has got the reason. Why means reason. Question number 15, a suggestion. It means you need to find a paragraph that offers suggestion that the popularity of tall buildings is linked to prestige. A reason, let me just write it down here. If Shumaila covers it, yeah, she's operating the camera. And over here it's already written a suggestion. Now here a comparison. See there, it's so clear. A comparison between what? The circulation of air in a 19th century building and modern standards. So where you find 19th century building and modern and today, that will be that paragraph, right? Now next, so one is reason, suggestion, comparison. How short, now short S is capital, it might be the name of some person. How short tested the circulation of air. Circulation of air in the 19th century building. See, 19th century building, one thing, and again 19th century building, but how? Now how means method, or it can be manner, right? How short tested means they will tell us how he tested, and that is going to be that paragraph. Next they say 18, an implication. Wow, implication, actual, it's got many meanings, but over here they mean conclusion, right? Findings or result of something. An implication that advertising led to the large increase in the use of air conditioning. Advertising led to the large increase use of air conditioning. Now we need to find the conclusion or result. An implication means the result that advertising led and all that. So this is what we got to find. Now we need to find a reason, a suggestion, a comparison, a method, and an implication. That means the result of something, outcome or conclusion. So now we keep this in mind, right, and we just take a start and we see if we find any reason, suggestion, comparison, method and an implication. Alright, so this is the passage and we are clear what we are looking for. Back to the future skyscraper design, we understand, answer to the problem of excessive and all that. Now this is one section, this is second B section, C, D and all that. Now again, once again I tell you what we are looking for: a reason, a suggestion, a comparison, a method or manner how something is done, and an implication, that means conclusion. So let's just take a start. Recovery of natural environment and architecture by process this, years of research and this. Okay, there is no mention. The crisis in building design is already here, said short. Short is mentioned, but about short, how short tested the circulation of air in 19th century building. There is no mention of 19th century building, leave this. B, short is calling. Again there is the word short. Short is calling. We need to see if there is a reference of 19th century building. Short is calling for a sweeping reinvention to end the reliance on the sealed buildings which exist solely via the life support, but there is no mention of 19th century. Instead he shows it is entirely possible to accommodate rural. No, there isn't anything. Alright, now let's go on. Instead he shows it is entirely possible to accommodate natural ventilation, alright, and cooling in large buildings, alright, by looking into past before the widespread introduction of air conditioning system which were relentlessly and aggressively marketed by their inventors. Okay, marketing, advertisement. Now let's see. They say an implication that advertising led to the large increase in the use of air conditioning. Just a second. Short is saying that instead he shows it is entirely possible to accommodate natural ventilation and cooling in large buildings by looking into the past before the widespread introduction of air conditioning system which were relentlessly and aggressively marketed by their inventors. Now what? He is saying the air conditioners. I mean, what is the statement? Instead he shows it is entirely possible to accommodate natural ventilation and cooling in large buildings by looking into the past. That is one thing. Before the widespread introduction of air conditioning. Now widespread introduction of air conditioning system which were relentlessly and aggressively marketed. Because of this word, I found the clue. What is the statement? The statement is an implication, means conclusion, result, that advertising led to the large increase in the use of air conditioning before the widespread introduction of air conditioning system which were relentlessly and aggressively marketed. Now widespread introduction and then relentlessly and aggressively marketed by their inventors. So an implication that advertising led to the large increase in the use of air conditioning. For question number 18, section B is the right answer. I write it down here. Wow. Just because of this advertising and marketing, I found the clue. Alright, so far so good. Now we should refresh the information. Reasons, suggestion, comparison, and again the method how he did something. Alright, not a bad start. Now let's go on. There they say, Short points out, now again Short points out that to make most contemporary building habitable, they have to be sealed and air conditioned. Okay, that's what he says. The energy use and carbon emissions this generates is spectacular and largely necessary. All right, buildings in the west account for 40 to 50% of electricity usage, generating substantial carbon emission, and the rest of the world is catching up at a frightening rate. All right, let's just see. Short regards glass, steel, and air conditioned skyscrapers as symbols of status rather than practical ways of meeting our requirement. Now let's go back and we see if we have any option. 18 is already done. So 14, why some people avoided hospitals in the 19th century? No, it's not that. 15, a suggestion that the popularity of tall building is linked to prestige. I doubt it. A suggestion that the popularity of tall buildings is linked to the prestige. Let's just see if there is any suggestion. Short points out that to make most contemporary building habitable, they have to be sealed and air conditioned. The energy used and carbon emission, this generates this. Largely building in the west account for 40 actually generating substantial carbon emissions, and the rest of the world is catching up at a frightening rate. Short regards glass, steel and air conditioned skyscrapers. Tall building are the skyscrapers. Let's read this carefully. It is somewhere here. Short regards glass, steel and air conditioned skyscrapers as symbol of status. My God, you Ielts people, symbol of status is actually prestige. Skyscraper is actually tall buildings, right? So he says short regards. Now short regards, or it is what he suggests, glass, steel and air conditioned skyscrapers as symbols of status rather than practical ways of meeting our requirement. He regards means he actually suggests. So what do they say? A suggestion that the popularity of tall buildings is linked to prestige. Tall buildings, skyscraper, linked to prestige. For prestige they are using the word regard steel skyscraper as symbol of status. Symbol of status is actually prestige. Wow. So for question number 15, the right answer is C. Alright, not bad. Okay, we are done with 2 questions. Now again, why some people avoided hospital in the 19th century? Reasons, a comparison between, this is comparison, and how short tested the circulation of air in a 19th century building. Okay, we've done until here. Now let's go on. Short's book highlights a developing and sophisticated art and science ventilating buildings through the 19th and earlier, okay, we've got this, the 19th and earlier 20th centuries, including the design of internally ventilated hospitals. They're talking about ventilation and hospitals as well. So let's see if there is anything. Of particular interest were those built the design of John Shaw Building, including the first John Hopkins Hospital in the US city of Baltimore. Now what is he saying? He's saying of particular interest were those built to the design of John Shaw Building and including the first John Hopkins Hospital. Okay, now let's see if there is any idea about it. Why some people avoided hospitals? No, it is not. A comparison between circulation of air in 19th century building and modern? No. How short tested the circulation of air in a 19th century building? Let's see, because people avoided hospital, they didn't talk about that. Now I doubt it, because they mentioned 19th century building. How short tested the circulation of air in a 19th century building? Okay, now what do they say? Short's book highlights a developing and sophisticated art and science ventilating building through the 19th and earlier 20th centuries, including the design of ingeniously ventilated hospitals. Of particular interest were those built to the design of John Shaw Building, including the first John Hopkins Hospital in the US. See that? Now what they say? We spent, then they carry on, we spent 3 years digitally modeling billing. Okay, we spent 3 years digitally modeling billing. Final design says short. We put pathogens in the airstream modeled for someone with the just a second. How short tested? Wow, clever, huh? How short tested the circulation of air in a 19th century building, and he says we spent 3 years digitally. Now we spent 3 years actually testing. digitally modeling, billing, final design, says short. We put pathogens in the airstream model. Now this is all how he tested. They are just telling us how they tested. And what's the question? They say how short tested the circulation of air in a 19th century building, and that is mentioned here. We spent 3 years digitally modeling billings, right, final design, and final design spent 3 years. That is how they tested, says short. We put this, and then they say modeled for someone with tuberculosis coughing in the wards, and we found the ventilation system in the room would have kept other patients safe from harm. So for section D, by the way, 2 paragraphs. For section D, the right answer is 17. How short tested the circulation of air in a 19th century building, and we find it here, 19th century building, and that hospital, he talked about 2 hospitals, John Hopkins Hospital and then John Shaw Billings, and he uses the short form here, Billings final design. Billings mean this hospital. So for question number 17, the answer is D. Alright, now we are left with 2 options. One is actually 16 and one is 14. 14 is the reason, 16 is the comparison. So let's go on after this, because we are done with this paragraph. Now we've got paragraph E, and there they say we discovered the 19th century hospital wards could generate up to 24 air changes an hour. That's similar to the performance of a modern day. Now modern day, we discovered that 19th century hospital, try to be alert, try to be extra alert when they talk about it. They say we discovered that 19th century hospital ward could generate, now this is the past, up to 24 air changes an hour. That is similar. Similar means comparison. Whenever there is similarity, that is similar to the performance of modern day computer controlled operating theater. Now what 2 things are they comparing? They are comparing 19th century hospital, and then they say that is similar to performance of modern day computer controlled operating theater. So 19th century hospital similar to this, they are comparing. Now let's see, we've got question, a comparison between the circulation of air in a 19th century building and modern standards. And by the way, for modern standards, he is using the word performance of a modern day computer control is a standard, right, operating theater. So computer control, that is standard, and then they are comparing. Wow. I'm so excited about it. So for question number 16, a comparison, the right answer is E. I just write it here. Alright, this is also crossed. Now we are left with 1 option and 1, I can count that as well, 1, 2, 3, 4 sections. Now let's see what happens next. Question is why some people avoided hospitals in the 19th century. Now it's easy to scan. Why some people avoided hospitals in 19th century. People avoided hospitals, no, not this. People avoided hospitals in 19th century, not this. Now let's scan the word 19th century once. Here. Alright guys, this is so fine. Much of the ingenuity present in 19th century hospital, okay, and building design was driven by a panicked public clamoring for buildings that could protect against what was thought to be the lethal threat of mismas, I don't know how to pronounce it correctly, toxic air that spread disease. Alright, now we are looking for something different, and that is why some people avoided hospitals in the 19th century. 19th century hospital is here, but why some people avoided? Alright, they say mismas were feared as the principal agent of disease and epidemic for centuries and were used to explain the spread of infection from the Middle Ages right through the cholera outbreak, London, Paris, foul air, rather than germs was believed to be the main drive of hospital fever. Wow, clever, huh? Very clever. Leading to disease and frequent death. So was believed to be the main driver. Now they're telling us what was the main driver. The main foul air, one thing, and rather than germs was believed to be the main driver of hospital fever. Now see here, people avoided hospital. People avoided hospital means hospital fever. And for why, they have given the reason. Foul air rather than germs was believed to be the main driver. Oh my God, Asad Yaqub, you are after Ielts people. The main driver, driver means actually reason. And I told you why means reason. Okay, nobody else can teach you Ielts better than me. I'm sure about it. Okay, so the main driver of hospital fever, 19th century hospital. Why some people avoided hospital in the 19th century? This section contains that. This is section F. So for section F, we are going to write question number 14, section F. Right? This is also done. Alright guys, now it's up to you. Practice, understand, find out how to do it. This is the best I can do for you. Thank you. Welcome back. So guys, now you are quite familiar with the question type. Which paragraph contains the following information? Okay, now you know how to read the questions and how to scan the passage. That's lovely, very good. Now it's up to you. Just try to solve a couple of tests and there focus which paragraph or which section contains the following information, and then this question type is going to be easier for you. It's going to be very easy for you as well. If you like this video, hit the like button and subscribe my channel. I run another channel, Asad Yaqub Vlogs. You can subscribe to that as well. And I also teach Ielts online. If you want to join my online Ielts classes, my WhatsApp number is given. You can contact me for that. Asad Yaqub wishes you all the best with your Ielts reading, academic Ielts reading. Take good care of yourselves. Allah Hafiz.